Hello everyone, I am at the airport, the Jackson, Mississippi airport, and I am waiting for my plane, and I thought, you know what, let's do our Bible study together. Hi sweet girl, hi Michelle, I pray you're doing well. I hope everybody is continuing to pray for Aldo and also for Sharon Johnson, and that both of them are recovering but need our prayers. From COVID. And hi Mario, hi TSAAU. How do you say your name? Now there's people in the airport, so you might hear more than me today. Hi Roxy, thanks for joining me. I just appreciate all of you joining me, and this is going to be a good chapter. It's different though, because it's more of a history chapter than a lot of revelation. Well, we'll see. We'll see what God does. Oh, hi Teresa. Oh, I like the way that's spelled. That's pretty nice to see your name, and I'll try to remember TSAAU is Teresa from now on. This is going to be a good chapter, but as I said, it's more history than it is revelation. We are in Genesis 36, and it starts with the descendants of Esau. Here are the descendants of Esau, also known as Edom. And I've been told by different historians that Edom or Esau, his descendants are what we would call today the modern day Lebanese people. And of course, my husband is Lebanese, so I would say these are my husband's people. Hi Crystal, thanks for joining me. Here are the descendants of Esau, also known as Edom. Esau chose 3 wives from among Canaanite women. And one of the things I want to point out is we've read this before. We've talked about this before. And in this particular chapter, it's not said just once, but it's said over and over again. And you'll hear what I mean by that. Esau chose 3 wives from among Canaanite women. Adah, the daughter of Elon the Hittite. And then I have to work on this one. Aholibama, daughter of Anna, son of Zibeon the Hivite, both of which were heathenistic. The nations were heathenistic. They did not worship the same God as the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And Basemath, Ishmael's daughter, sister of Nabaoth. And here's the thing, I think he thought maybe he was appeasing his mom. Rebecca said she couldn't stand his heathenistic wives that he had taken from the land of Canaan, and so he went and got a wife from Ishmael's family, but I don't know if that was really appeasing them or not. So he had 3 wives. Adah bore Eliphaz to Esau, Basemath bore Reuel, and Aholibama bore Jeush, Jalem, and Korah. Now we know Korah, we see it later on in training class. We'll watch up later. Okay, Roxy, thanks so much for coming in for a moment. And definitely I'll be posting it on our Salem Family Ministries YouTube channel just as quickly as I can get it up to upload. And then also, if you have not been staying with us on each chapter, you can catch up on every chapter on our YouTube channel. Thanks so much for joining us. So Esau took his wives, his sons, his daughters, and his entire household, and the cattle, livestock, and possessions he had acquired in the land of Canaan, and migrated to the land of Seir, some distance from his brother Jacob. Since the land where Jacob was living could not support their combined possessions and livestock, Esau, also known as Edom, settled in the hill country of Seir. Sorry about all the talking going on everywhere, but I'm in an airport, and that's what happens sometimes. This is the account of Esau, ancestor of the Edomites in the hill country of Seir. Now, below it says the Aholibama name means a tent shrine or cultic, which tells us that that particular wife was from a religion that worshipped, that was cultic. They were a cult. They did not worship the God that we serve. They did not worship the God that Esau was supposed to be serving. And that's why Rebecca and Isaac did not like these 2 daughter-in-laws. They brought them great grief. And then it also goes on, the Horite, it says one of the wives was a Horite, which is the same as a Hivite, I believe. as translated from the Syriac and explicitly stated in verse 8, the Hebrew is to a land. The Septuagint is from the land of Canaan. So here's how we know. Hi, Laura. Thanks for joining me. So here's how we know. So they have settled in Seir instead of in the land where Jacob was settled, simply because it says that there wasn't enough in that land where Jacob was to support the great wealth and the mass amount of people and all of their cattle and their oxen and all the things they would need to feed. So he settled a little distance away. But it kind of gives you an indication that they had reconciled as brothers to want to even settle in the same land, and then for him to settle close. A servant's heart, so good to catch you today. That's right, so good to see you too. So this is the account of Esau, ancestor of the Edomites in the hill country of Seir. Esau's wife Ada bore him one son, Eliphaz, and Eliphaz had 5 sons. Michelle says, I figured out how to change my notification so I always get notified when you're live. Oh, good. I hope that's always the case for most of you, that you'll set your notifications so you know when I go live, not only here on Instagram, but also when I go live on our YouTube channel also. Hi, Jesse. Thanks for joining me. We are in verse 16 of verse 10 of chapter 36. Esau's wife Ada bore him one son, Eliphaz, and Eliphaz had 5 sons, Teman, Omar, Zepho, Gatam, and Kenaz. Eliphaz also had a son with his concubine Timnah named Amalek. Very important to remember Amalek. This is the one who brought such great grief. Saul was supposed to kill him. Saul didn't kill him. And then Haman is a descendant of the Amalek here. And that Haman, it was always, that's in the book of Esther, and he was the one that hated the Jews. They had this hatred. It came through the bloodline. And so here, the son Amalek is born through the concubine Timnah. Esau's wife Basemath bore him one son, Reuel, and Reuel had 4 sons, Nahath, Zerah, Shammah. We know Shammah means God is with us. Shammah and Mizah. Esau's wife Aholibamah, the daughter of Anah and granddaughter of Zibeon, bore Esau 3 sons, Jeush, Jalem, and Korah. And if you remember the whole group of the family of Korah and what happened to them later on, we'll get to that. These are the tribes descended from Esau's firstborn son, Eliphaz, whom Ada bore and who lived in Edom: Teman, Omar, Zepho, Kenaz, Korah, Gatam, and Amalek. These are the tribes descended from Esau and Basemath's son Reuel, who lived in Edom: Nahath, Zerah, Shammah, and Mizah. Now, I don't know about you, but they've already told me this once. Now they're telling it to me again. I have no idea why, but they keep reiterating which ones came from who. Wow, that's right. That's why it's so important to obey. Because had Saul obeyed God in killing Amalek, then Haman would have never been born, and the Jews would have not had to fight for their whole nation was under an order to be destroyed because of the deception and the hatred of Haman. These are the tribes descended from Esau and Basemath's son Reuel, who lived in Edom: Nahan, Zerah, Shammah, and Mizah. These are the tribes descended from Esau's wife Aholibamah, the daughter of Anah, Jeush, Jalem, and Korah. This concludes the list of the descendants of Esau, also known as Edom, and their respective tribes. Each one of them becomes a tribe. The descendants of Seir. These are the tribes descended from Seir, the Horites, and that's, of course, we know the tribes of Israel. The 12 tribes of Israel are the sons of Jacob, whose name gets changed to Israel, and the 12 tribes of Israel come from Jacob. Now we have all these different tribes coming from Esau. These are the tribes descended from Seir, the Horite, of the original inhabitants of Edom: Lodan, Shobal, Zibeon, Anah, Dishon, Ezer, and Dishan. All of these are the descendants of Seir. Do I need to stop? Because of the speaker coming over from the loudspeaker. Lotan's sons were Hori and Heman, and Lotan's sister was Timnah. Now we've heard these names already, and now we're hearing them again. Shobal's sons were Alvin, Manahath, Ebal, Shepho, and Onan. Zibeon's sons were Aiah and Anah. This is the Anah who discovered the springs in the wilderness while he was grazing the donkeys of his father Zibeon. Okay, good. I'm glad you can still hear me as I'm kind of competing with this speaker over my head. Anah's son was Dishon, and Anah's daughter was Aholibamah. Now see, here we are getting all these descendants. It's not a repeat, it's not a new group, it's the same ones, and we're being told about them over and over again. So this is important that we know these names, because they're going to show up again, and when they show up, it is not normally because they're going to bring something good. This is a whole group that's birthed, and they bring all of the dissension and war and problems to the 12 tribes of Israel, to the nation of Israel. Hi, Savannah. Thanks for joining me. Hi, Laura Kokenauer. Thanks for joining me. Anah's son was Dishon, and Anah's daughter was Aholibamah. Dishon's sons were Hemdan, Eshban, Ithran, and Kieran. Ezra's sons were Bilhan, Zavan, and Achan. Dishon's sons were Uz and Aaron. This concludes the list of the Horite tribes in the land of Seir: Lotan, Shobal, Zibeon, Anah, Dishon, Ezer, and Dishon. And see, it lists Dishon and Dishan, two different sons. Now, we're on verse 31. The kings of Edom. Long before the Israelites had kings, these are the 8 kings who reigned in Edom. Now remember, Edom would be what we would call modern day Lebanon. So that would be just north of Israel. Bela, son of Beor, from the city of Dinhabah. When Bela died, Jobab, son of Zerah, from the city of Basra, succeeded. Now we know Basra even in today's society. When Jobab died, Husham, from the land of Teman, remember Teman, the daughter, succeeded him. When Husham died, Hadad, from the city of Avith, who was the son of Bedad. Hi Jude, nice to see you. From the land of Havith. Now I've lost my place, I'm so sorry. When Husham died, Hadad, from the city of Avith, who was the son of Bedad, succeeded him. Hadad defeated the Midianites in the land of Moab. I know, lots of names. Just try your best to keep up with them, and just remember that we're naming them because they're going to become enemies of Israel. Hi, Olga. Thanks for joining me so much. So nice to see you. When Hadad died, oh wait, I've skipped one I don't want you to forget. Hadad defeated the Midianites in the land of Moab. And remember, Ruth was a Moabite. She was born, and so was Orpah, most probably her sister, and they were Naomi's 2 daughter-in-laws. When Naomi's husband, from the book of Ruth, there is a famine going on in Israel, and they go over to the Moabite country, and both of Naomi's sons, marry Moabite women. Hadad defeated the Midianites in the land of Moab. When Hadad died, Samlah of Masrekah succeeded him. When Samlah died, Shaul of Rehoboth on the river succeeded him. When Shaul died, Baal-Hanan, son of Achbor, succeeded him. When Baal-Hanan, son of Achbor, died, Hadar, from the city of Peu, whose wife was Mehetabel, the daughter of Matred, please don't give up on me, I'm trying, Mezahab's granddaughter, succeeded him. These are the tribes of Esau according to their clans and regions. Aw, thanks so much for saying happy 88th birthday to my mama. Hopefully you won't lose connection again. I agree with you. Let's stay on. I hope it's not on my end. So we've got the last verse here, the last two verses. These are the tribes of Esau according to their clans and regions. Hi, Celinda. Timnah, Alva, Japheth, Aholibamah, Elah, Penan, Kenaz, Teman, Mibzar, Migdiel, and Iram. And that might be Iram. This concludes the list of the Edomite tribes who settled and possessed land in different regions of their country. All the Edomites descended from Esau. Hi, Lisa. Thanks for joining me. So they're called clans or chiefs, a Hebrew word related to 1,000. So when they reached 1,000, they became a clan or a tribe. And then if they got bigger, they could either split, depending on a different descendant, or they could stay together in that group. Some etymologists link Bela to Balaam. Remember Balaam? Whose father was Beor. Bela means swallowing up or gluttony. Beor means stupid, dull-hearted, unreceptive, cruel, inhuman, and barbarous. Dinhabah means given over to judgment. So every one of these descendants have issues with their character. There is an ancient Jewish tradition that equates Jobab with the biblical figure of Job, but we don't know that for sure. Basra is identified as modern Basira. That's from Isaiah 63 and Amos 1. The river is possibly Wadi el-Hessa, which formed the boundary of Edom and Moab, or possibly the Euphrates River. And then we have in verse 39, it's the Hadad. And then we go on into the next chapter. So as you can see, there's almost nothing here that would bring us anything except genealogy. This is a chapter on genealogy. And hi, Warrior Up, Miss Tiffany. It's good to see you. Thank you all for joining me so much. And I am in Mississippi, flying out of Jackson today, and I'm at the Jackson airport. So if you're wondering what I'm doing, this is what I'm doing and where I am. And my plane will be leaving in just a few minutes, but I just wanted to come to you in case my travels got to the point where I couldn't find a place where I could take off my mask. And I don't like to do my Bible studies in a mask. Sometimes Dallas is a little stricter. I found a little corner here in the Jackson airport. My mama says thank you to all of you who wished her a happy birthday. And I know Tiffany's so close and yet so far. Tiffany is in Zachary, Louisiana, which is only about 3 hours south of here. I know. I'm giving hugs to all of you in this little airport right here in Jackson, Mississippi. Now, the next story is going to be the story of Joseph. Now, and I want to point out to you that even though in the last chapter in 35, before we went into 36, it talks about the death of Isaac at 180 years old. He breathed his last breath. He died an old man and had lived a full life. I just want you to understand that when this happened, Isaac died years after Joseph was sold into Egypt as a slave. Isaac lived the longest of all the patriarchs. And why I wanted to point that out is I don't want you to think that the scripture here in Genesis is written chronologically. It isn't, because these verses 27 through 29 in chapter 35, 27 through 29, chronologically is way out of order. That should have come later after Joseph is sold into slavery. But they list it here, and then we just move on. That's just a historical fact that happened, but it actually, in the timeline that we're reading, it hasn't happened yet. Isaac dies long after Joseph is sold into slavery. So that's just kind of a little tidbit there in the history. Okay, I'm giving everybody a hug. Jennifer, don't forget to go by and check on my mom, please, sometimes. I know she's going to be very sad today because Paulette and I both left, and we've been there for 5 days. And I'm sure she's had a big cry. So all of you, please pray for my mom as she sits there, as she says, by herself now in that big old house. And all of you would please pray for my mom. And then Jennifer, when you think of it and can, please stop by and see her. She talks about when you stopped and saw her and how precious that is to her. So oh, you just did. Well, thank you so much. That will bless her so much. I will call her later and she will have to tell me all about it, I'm sure. So that's chapter 36. I'm going to upload this to our YouTube channel, and don't forget to be with us live. Harry went live last night on Marriage Mondays without me, and he talked a lot about manners and how to train children to have manners. And so you might want to watch that. Please give it a thumbs up. Please share it on your social media platforms. And thank you so much for helping me with all of this. I'm going to stop here on Instagram and I'm going to upload it. And if you would do me a favor, go and watch it again on YouTube, and thumbs up, share, and comment. All of that helps us with the channel, and it actually pushes us up a little higher in the algorithm on the YouTube system. So that helps other people be able to find us a little easier. So, oh, thank you. Makes me wish I could see her. Miss being a caregiver. I understand that totally. My mom is really, really precious too. So thank you for praying for me today. Thanks for praying as I travel home. Keep reading your Bible. Keep going back and watching the chapters. Keep my hours up. Please, 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 please. Keep my hours up, especially over the weekends. I really appreciate it. Mwah. I'll see you in the morning at West Coast time, 9 o'clock. And hopefully we will be together on YouTube also. Love you.